Don't you just love being out in nature and in the bush? I know I've done some videos on this before, but I'll bring you a new topic. A couple of times a week, Craig and I get away into the bush and just to soak up the beautiful surrounds and the sounds. You might be able to hear the birds in a minute. On cue, if you heard it, hopefully you picked it up. And you know, it's just rained through here. In fact, it's on the other side of the hill to where we live, and it's just amazing. We didn't get any rain. we didn't, but it's been raining through here, and it's smells gorgeous. You know, that beautiful petrichor smell of the rainforest, and I can hear the creek is running really well down there at Obi Creek, and you know, there's just something about it. And it sort of had me thinking, it's you know, it's lovely and it's gorgeous and it's accessible to me. I can be here every day of the week if I want to. And of course we are a couple of times a week at least. And it's still a circumstance. So very soon, Craig and I will be moving on from this area for a while. I have a feeling we'll be back at some point. I'm not sure why or what for. I'm just going to make this a little bit further out so that then you guys can have a bit more view of the bush and a little less of my shadowy face. So, you know, what's really cool is not only are we appreciating it, but we're not going to cling to the idea that, hey, this is all going to be moving on soon. We're not going to have anything like this because we don't know, right? We don't know what we're creating, but what we do know is that it's true for us to experience these types of things. So it's more than likely that we will create experiences and places and things to do that means we'll get even more of this, or even better than this, if that's even possible. And when I used to teach yoga, one of the things I used to talk about was two main causes of suffering, of which I'm sure there's many more, but there's clinging and aversion. And the state of clinging is that state of, oh, I don't want to lose what I've got. I feel I must be attached to the place I live, the people I have in my life, the job I have, the money I have, whatever it is. We tend to want to cling to it. We don't want to let it go. And one of the powerful things about being a masterful creator is vulnerability. You got to be open, just letting go of what you believe needs to be held together, because your beliefs will always hold you in that orientation of the ego to keep you clinging on to the things that you think are making a difference in your life, but you don't really know. And until you're vulnerable enough to let go and to open up, you can't be shown the new. Look at these trees. They fell down. At some point, they let go. They've become part of the next cycle of the forest. It's a little bit glum. We're not quite there yet, are we? But in the clinging, we're very much in the, I know how it is, I know how it has to be, I know what can't happen, I know what must happen, I know how things have to pan out for me, I know how I'm going to make things happen. And there's no room for magic. There's no room for your intuition. There's no room for the power of who you really are to come through. So even though in 2 months from today we will have packed up where we've been living for the last 2 years, which has been absolutely magnificent and just magic in itself, I'm excited. I don't know what it's going to hold from there, apart from we've got a few dates, a few bits and pieces going on. So even though 2 months from today we'll be moving on from this magical place, I know that through our power of intention, our focus, knowing what's true for our heart, knowing what's true for us, we'll be creating better, we'll be creating more. We may even recreate this if it's true for us. But because we can let go, there's no drama, no worries, nothing to be concerned about. So the other side of the teaching is the aversion side. It's also tied up very much with trying to control what's coming, things you don't know, the things that you think you know because you've had them in the past, and you're avoiding them happening again. And again, lack of vulnerability has us here. And really, what are we really avoiding? Well, what we're really avoiding is a perceived fear of feeling bad in the future. There's going to be something that's coming up in the future that I'm not going to like. I'm going to have a feeling about that thing that I really don't enjoy. And so then we go into, I must control and make sure that this isn't something that doesn't occur, so that I've got the time, the space, the anticipation, the know-how, the wherewithal to ensure that I'm not going to experience a feeling I don't want to feel. But here we are, we're human, we signed up for this human experience. Right now I'm walking up a hill. Is walking up a hill the easiest thing to do? No. But it's part of the landscape, and I won't get to see the next beautiful thing until I experience the hill. And of course there's beauty everywhere as soon as I get to the top of this little rise. I might just have a little scope around. Look at this, just the top of this little rise. Incredible ferns, trees, rocks. Amazing. So we've got to be prepared to perhaps have some sore muscles or get a little bit puffed out or whatever it happens to be. And that may pale into insignificance in comparison to, say, grief or fear of loss or humiliation or whatever it is that you're trying to mostly avoid. But you did sign on for the whole landscape. You signed on to experience all of it as a human being. You didn't come here with, just make my life joyful from beginning to end, because actually you wouldn't even know what joyful is if that's all you experienced. So we have preferences. I prefer to feel this way. I prefer to have these types of experiences, but I'm open to anything. I'm able to experience the whole lot of it. It's all allowed to exist. And from this point, our vulnerability takes us to the point of power. Whereas we can sit in the I don't know, and we can sit in the, hey, it just is what is. And I can make my thoughts and feelings volatile around any situation. Even some really super painful things, like the loss of a loved one or loss of your own health or something like that. It's not our preference to experience those things, but they're allowed. And they're possible, and they actually decorate our lives with those deep, meaningful experiences that we wouldn't get any other way. So I'd love to hear your thoughts today about the clinging, the aversion, being open to the vulnerability, like walking into spider webs, and what power you can observe from that state of everything's allowed to happen. What happens when you can question what you believe to be true from your egoic agenda, when you can let go of the clinging. We're currently going up another big hill. I'm not clinging to this, but I'm welcoming it in. It's going to feel really good on the downhill. The aversion of things. Concretize it for yourself. Put a comment in. Make some sort of declaration or an aha. I'm getting it now. And from here, let's just observe what magic opens up to you from here. Have a super day. Catch you soon.